With energy prices rising, it's already a troubling moment for people throughout the UK, but there might be much more challenging times. Following concerns about anticipated power outages this winter, the National Grid's Electricity System Operator, or ESO, issued a potential power outage notice on November 22nd. The notice was then removed with an explanation on Twitter that ESO is satisfied that electricity margins are sufficient for a night's dinner. The automatic mechanism, however, has prompted a Capacity Market Notification, or CMN. The report raised concerns about the possibility of blackouts in the coming months. The National Grid has informed residents that they will only be used as a last resort. But what would these power outages entail, and why could they occur? First, we need to understand why a blackout could occur. The combination of gas shortages and harsh weather this winter may leave the UK without sufficient electricity. To minimize disruptions in the system, there must be enough energy supply to match demand, which is higher throughout the winter months. However, the energy regulator, Ofgem, has issued a warning about potential gas shortages which might impair the power supply. Due to the war in Ukraine and also energy shortages in Europe, there is a considerable danger that gas shortages might emerge during the winter of 2022-23 in the UK, Ofgem stated in an October letter acquired by The Times. So, what would happen in a blackout? If there is an energy shortage, demand for gas and electricity may have to be so high during peak hours. Speaking at the Financial Times Energy Transition Summit in October, National Grid CEO John Pettigrew stated that in the worst-case scenario, when energy is short, blackouts might occur generally between 4 and 7 p.m. in those evenings and on weekdays where it's cold from January to February. How likely is it that a blackout will take place? The National Grid has stated that blackouts will only be used as a last alternative. Pettigrew told the BBC that while there may be energy deficits, people should not worry because contingency preparations are in place. Most critically, we're ensuring that our infrastructure and networks are resilient and ready for the winter, and I've got thousands of engineers ensuring that the network is ready for whatever weather we see this winter, he added. Milder weather than forecast has also contributed to the avoidance of power outages, according to The Guardian. The concept of responsibility relates to the act of deciding whether or not a person is accountable for their actions, and storage in Europe is nearly full right now. But why has the National Grid launched a new money-saving scheme? To prevent blackouts this winter, the National Grid has announced a new demand flexibility service, which will provide homeowners with reduction on their power bills if they reduce peak time consumption over a few days. The term responsibility refers to the act of determining whether or not a person is responsible for their actions. If necessary, this new service will assist the ESO in avoiding the need for its emergency responses if energy supplies are disrupted. Between November and March, there will be 12 test days with an average home savings of around $120. To participate in the DFS program, you must first install a smart meter. And what should you do if the power is switched off? Along with having flashlights in the house and ensuring phones are charged, there are numerous other recommendations to consider if your home loses electricity. If you have solid fuel, make sure you're loaded up, recommends Jonathan Roland from the National Association of Property Buyers. Keep in mind that a gas stove can heat the room and your food. Power outages are most likely to occur around dinner time, so plan how to prepare a warm meal for yourself and your family ahead of time. If the power goes out, turn off any unneeded equipment that will turn on when the electricity comes back on, but keep a light on to let you know when the power comes back on. It's also a good idea to stay in touch with your neighbors. If your power goes out suddenly, check to see if your neighbors are also impacted to determine the outage is isolated to your home or if it is more widespread, says Go Compare's energy representative Gareth Clout. If it's only your house, it's probably a problem with your fuse box, likely a tripped switch, and thus something you can fix yourself. How can you keep energy costs down this winter? From turning down your laundry temperature to cleaning fridge coils, take advantage of these energy-saving hacks in our previous video.